The S&P 500 and the Nasdaq 100, as you can see, we continue to hold our key level. Last night we pulled back into 1996, bouncing again off that level. You can see where that level stems from. Your key level developed back here. It was your June overall break, and then that retest low pushing back up. That's where we've been kind of sitting above right now. So still overall, you look strong. Broad market right now, and the Nasdaq continues to push. You go into something like ES, and ES try to get that push back in all-time highs. Right, end of the day, pretty strong, 57.92. Really tough ending of the day. Overall, there you see SPY as well. Ended up holding that level we mentioned as well, 568.5. Again, you held that for the better part of the day. You had a little bit of time underneath, but ultimately you held it overall, as you can see there as well. So ending the day overall pretty strong. Really slow day, but eventually you started getting some buyers stepping in. So that's where we're at right now. Okay, the Dow as well sitting very close to all-time highs, as you can see there. So that's where we're at right now. Overall, everything looks solid. Now, the big part of the day, if you notice, was NVIDIA popping up. Now, NVIDIA has not got the confirmation of the breakout, but you are very close, as you can see here. Getting into about 121, trying to break out. You're still sitting in that overall pennant, trying to get that breakout. I really think above like 128, 130 is where you get that confirmation of that breakout. And really what you want to see is just a break of these local levels here around 130, ideally getting that break, retest, and continuation on NVIDIA. But again, that's the story that you're really paying attention to as well with semiconductors. Again, getting finally another daily hold above 239. We want to see a full hold above this for some continuation back to the upside, 239. It's like we've been saying, if you're going to get, bulls to step in on the Nasdaq specifically, it's all based on semiconductors right now, because the second semiconductors start to bounce, you start getting a lot of love and you see buyers stepping back in aggressively on the Nasdaq when it was a day where things were kind of flat overall. So all in all, that's what we're looking at. SPY near highs, you look pretty decent. You look good overall. Going into something like the dollar, you can see the dollar also showing that risk on point of view. Dollar breaking the 200 weekly SMA, pushing back towards the downside. You have to assume you at least get that test of lows established here from 2023. So at least that 99.6 level there. Then you go into something like the 30-year yield. We look what's happening there as well. Again, you're seeing a little bit of a drop, right? From yesterday, we have bounced up, and now we're getting a little bit of a drop. Want to see us start getting and holding back below 4% there. The 10-year yield as well. Same kind of story there. So we're seeing that risk on format continue to form out, right? And that's what we really wanted to see here. Now go to mortgage rates on the day as well. Again, we got to keep tracking this because it's one of the most important areas of the market as mortgages continue to drop and will stimulate the overall economy, okay? So things we need to be paying close attention to. If you don't follow on Twitter, guys, I recommend you do so. We post our charts, a lot of free content there as well. Again, posted this morning about Netflix about to start ripping. Again, you ended up pushing into 722 at the end of the day, 720 roughly. So again, a good push there. Post a lot of stuff for free on Twitter for you as well. So make sure you're tapped in there. So really quickly, going into tomorrow, what are we looking at? Few things. Again, I'm watching Bitcoin here as well. Okay, so Bitcoin, I'll go somewhere with this here in a second. So Bitcoin's getting back above the 200. There's a high possibility you push into 67, 68K. Leads me to one stock I want to talk about, MicroStrategy. We mentioned MicroStrategy needs a 200 SMA, and you're holding it once again. Okay, so that's what we're looking at here. I think MicroStrategy has room back into locally 173, around $20, and you're getting the breakout right now of this level right here as well, above 152.5. Ideally, you get some retesting tomorrow and start pushing back into 173. And once that push starts to happen, it's going to happen quick on MicroStrategy like we've seen. And again, they continue just to buy more and more Bitcoin. So again, very bullish for that overall name. Coinbase is interesting, but it's below your 200 SMA. I'm less interested in MicroStrategy. Looks like a better play in my opinion in the short term. Semiconductors, just talked about NVIDIA. Like I said, again, short-dated NVIDIA to me is dumb. I think long-dated NVIDIA is like free money. So why would I trade short-term contracts when I don't need to take the risk, right? AMD, watching very closely. AMD, once it mounts to 200 daily moving average here at 160.5, I'm a very big bull, and I think you have room back into locally at least 166, and then into local levels of 175, give or take. So again, AMD really bullish there as well. ARM, a name I keep mentioning in Discord, didn't really get the confirmation of the breakout today, but I'm going to tell you right now, ARM, free little trade for you guys. If you start breaking back over 143.7 and hold, I think you're pushing directly into 149, 148. Keep that on your radar, one of my favorite names as well. AVGO, another big name here on the daily. You're breaking back over 173.5. Very bullish. I have you pushing into all-time highs. Again, very bullish overall on a lot of those semiconductors. Netflix, I mentioned this one again yesterday. I said above 701. I've been saying that. You're bullish. You remounted 711.8. After that point, you had to go long. All-time highs there. Very easy to see. Meta, definitely watching Meta here as well. Few things you're looking at on Meta. I was going to go short today on Meta. I got in and then I immediately cut the trade just because you started bouncing back too quickly on futures. So again, if I'm not going to trade the opposite direction of futures. That's dumb. So again, Meta started bouncing back up. But what you really wanted to see on Meta was you hold this level of 564. And I think you got a really good end of the day. So you came into this, you rejected, and you kind of pushed back up, right? So what you want to see here for continuation of the upside, ideally, is one, like maybe like a gap up or continuation of the morning, a retest of 564 and continuation back into highs. You want to see the retest of that level to get that continuation, to get that trade going there. I also think Microsoft coming back into 430 is just another opportunity. Would be watching this one as well. Traded that in Discord, got up 50%. You know, back at entry opportunity. So definitely watching that one as well. Okay. Amazon continues to be another impressive name here. One thing we kept mentioning was a hold of 191.7. You got a little bit of wick down and you got back above it and you started pushing back into local highs of 194. Again, I got you pushing into 196, then all-time highs 199.85, $200. So that's what I'm looking at there as well. Amazon's very impressive, a very strong name. Again, you're just stair-stepping back into highs. It's exactly what you want to see from these names right now. Again, you're seeing buyer step up. You're seeing us hold these key levels and you're seeing continuation. I'm also watching CrowdStrike really closely here, guys. Again, this is what you wanted to see where you eventually got above 284, then you push into the 200 SMA. You came back down near 284, 285, and now you're bouncing. I'm not looking for the longs down here anymore. What I'm looking for in CrowdStrike, and I've been telling you this is probably one of the best buys overall in the market for long dated positions as well as NVIDIA. If you start mounting over 305, you're going to fill that gap near 335 to 340. And then I think you can honestly push back into highs. One of my favorite names out there. You got to keep watching it. Now, as far as cheap names, mid caps, things like that, I think Zillow is going to keep heating up. You're making a bull flag here on higher time frames like the 4 hour. Again, I got Zillow pushing into $83, $84. Keep that on your watch list. I think Redfin's very cheap down here as well. You're still making higher lows. You're balancing. Ideally, you come back into $12, but they might not happen. I'm still holding some data mid-October to November's on Open Door. I think this thing could start moving up as well. I think Rocket Mortgage is another big name as well. These are my real estate names that I'm playing and could see continuation. I also like builders as well. So if you like any of those names, continue watching those closely. Okay. Again, those are my favorite names out there right now. I still like some other names like Reddit, Affirm, Upstart. Those are also impressive names here as well. But again, those are just giving you my favorite names that I'm watching out there in the market. Want to make sure things are very easy to understand. Also, too, guys, I didn't really go over too many options. I have to run to the hospital with my son. He has a little bit of a fever, and he's like only a month old, so I need to be kind of quick about this. But again, if you are trading options or stocks, I always recommend using Moomoo. It's the sponsor of this channel. We use them for everything. When you see us going over options, different strategies, things like that, I'm always using Moomoo. So make sure you check that out. Like for example, today, what we traded today, I traded either October 11th, but I personally, that's what I recommended in Discord, but I went for next week contracts. These things ran over 150% on the day. I traded personally the 720s. I always go about $10 out of the money. Those went about 110% total on the day. So again, it's what I always use, what I recommend using. My favorite platform out there, customer support is A1, right? I absolutely love what they're doing out there. So again, if you want to support the channel, you can do that. Also, too, guys, Discord spots will be opening up. So hopefully we'll get those out maybe in the next day or two. If you're not following, I recommend following on Twitter and send me a DM on there if you are interested in Discord, because we'll probably get you set up or at least put you on the wait list as well. I'll see you next time. Have a good one, traders.